I'm Jerika, and I use she, her.
I'm Air. I use he, him.
I'm Matt. I use he, him.
And this is Insight Check, where we delve into the dungeons of your bad decisions to retrieve the treasures of wisdoms. Speedrun edition.
We're going to get through this quick. This is a quick 15 minutes.
It's time for the dungeon crawl. Let's do it.
Dragon's done.
Guys, with everything that's happened in the past couple of weeks, it's too much energy. I don't have it. Please slow down. I'm out of breath.
These are my last dregs of energy.
You're setting a precedent. Yeah.
I'm not good at running.
But are you good at crawling?
Oh God, it's all I've got left is crawling.
Then take it away, Matt.
These wounds, they will not heal.
Here's how I fall, confusing what is real.
So, a week and a half ago or so, Wizards dropped more subclasses on us, even, and this will not be in
directly onto our lumbars.
Yeah, it's good support.
I mean, if anything's going to readjust, it's going to be them dragons.
Yeah, the only kinks this is going to get out are your dragon kinks. We have two subclasses from monks and rangers, both centering.
Dragons got horns on them, right?
You're saying they're horned?
That's all, folks. I'm off.
But yeah, it's a monk and a ranger subclass, both centering around dragons, having dragons, being the dragon, awakening the dragon within and without.
Speaking of entering the dragon,
chasing the dragon,
your opium problem.
Crouching tigers and also hiding the dragon.
Opium Den meets Dragon's Den. Oh, but Embers isn't here this week.
Your Dragon Balls A to Z.
Yeah.
A through Z.
That's the thing. They started at Z. Like, what about the backstory, right?
What is this Z, Air? I don't understand that from you.
What is this Z?
Oh yeah, is Dragon Ball Z in Canada called Dragon Ball Z?
It is actually called Dragon Ball Z. We never flipped it over.
And you never questioned it.
Not even once until this very moment. To be fair,
like it's the way it's supposed to be.
It is the way. You know what? I'm going to give you this. Like, yes, the letter U should be inserted into far more words than you're aware of, but your pronunciation of the last letter of the alphabet completes the rhyme scheme for the alphabet song. So
right?
So you win on
Rhyming
that front.
Means it's correct.
Rhymes can't be lies.
Mm-hmm. I think the McElroys proved this. Anyway.
At least that is what I surmise.
Let's talk more about dragons, I guess.
All right. So monk subclass, Way of the Ascendant Dragon. Mm-hmm. I don't know. You learn shit from a dragon or something. The lore in these things is always interesting. It's I like that they give you like a little D6 chart that you can roll and be like, oh, you watched a dragon and learned how to do dragon stuff, or like your monks were trained by dragon. I don't know. It's whatever you want it to be. None of it matters. It does everything the elemental monk should have done, which is let you punch with different damage types. You learn draconic. You can re-roll intimidation and persuasion checks, which, monks are traditionally great at because they're charisma classes. 3, you also get to breathe damage type. Naturally, you get wings whenever you use your Step of the Wind.
Wingies!
Because you can't really have a dragon subclass without being like, oh yeah, and here's your dragon wings and t-shirt. I mean,
Dragonborns don't get them, but they're also
There's a feat they can...
No. There's a feat that did not make it in.
Oh, did it make it? Oh, I thought it made it in. Oh, that's a shame.
As far as I know, that one. No, they gave him your fear is a breath weapon and like hard scales. They give you like an extra AC, scratch attack. But the wings did not make it in.
Aw, all Dragonborns get wings. Hashtag.
Fun fact: my Thursday game, my Dragonborn got wings.
Oh, really?
This is just a lead up to, a Red Bull D&D crossover.
Oh, man, absolutely.
They just got to hold it back until that's all announced.
So going on, so you get a breath weapon kind of thing. You can choose the elemental type. So what if you're like a red dragonborn, but you've been trained by a blue dragon? Like, are you just all mixed up?
Don't know what to do. Every time I turn around, it's you.
Thank you, Matthew, for following that 311 line completely through.
Well, I mean, it's, you learn, you are dragonborn, and then you learned about dragons, and so you have
Both?
Yeah.
What?
You can do it all.
Inside every
Well,
dragon
two
is
things.
2 dragons.
Well, technically it's 5 things because as the monk, not the dragonborn at least, but like you can change the damage type to acid, cold, fire, lightning, or poison.
Not thunder.
Not thunder, because as far as breath weapons go, that's not one of the traditional ones.
And it makes me sad.
Don't get me started. Anyway.
But yeah, and there's apparently it doesn't look like there's an actual like restriction to that one, and that one doesn't even cost like a key. Like you just decide that you want to punch. Like each punch could theoretically be a different damage type. It looks like
That's cool.
This is true.
which is wild.
Some Avatar-ish shit, but also dragony. Yeah.
Again, just the thing this subclass drags the most is the elemental monk, which. Ugh. Sorry, I'm just mad at elemental monk.
I think isn't everyone mad at elemental monk?
Well, like thematically, it was always very cool. I mean, who doesn't love Avatar? The Last Airbender. Yeah. So anyway, moving on. So like at 11 though, everybody gets the resistant to whatever damage type you choose, and then you also get a thing where like if somebody gets hit with the thing, you can do reaction to deal that damage type to them that's equal to your martial arts die. And then at 17 you get, I don't know, it reads kind of like a weird paladin thing, like where you get all the draconic superpowers, where you get blind sight and more dragon breath. And at the start of their turn they just start I guess you actually just get to set somebody on fire, because like you breathe, you use your breath weapon attack, and then they also like catch fire, so at the start of their turns they'll be on fire until they make a save.
Yeah, it's the sticky acid, the acid that no one wants. Yeah, and then you explode with draconic fury,
which is a real substance.
Yeah.
Like ectoplasm?
Yeah.
An incredibly exotic form of matter that does 4d10 acid, cold, fire, lightning, or poison damage. Your choice, of course. Yeah, one of those weird acid benders. The most, the rarest element.
I mean, it's basically water. I mean, if you want to.
I have to ask the question that everyone out there wants to know. How will this subclass affect win fight check?
A good question. So every time a ranger or monk subclass comes out, my first question is, hey, does it fix ranger or monk? And I would go ahead and say that neither of these do. They're certainly fun and thematic and better than other options, but I don't see a dragon monk walking away with a belt.
I see. Gotcha. You think it's
Prove
bad?
me wrong. Prove me wrong.
I mean, they got a 20-foot cone. Like their dragon breath, like which you can just sub out one of your attacks. It doesn't take the whole action, so you can breathe on them and then also continue to punch them.
This is true.
Which is, not good social distancing, but I guess it's okay monkeying.
I lower my mask.
Oh, no.
Too real. Yeah. Do you want to talk about this dragon cop ranger?
Dragon cop?
Drake Warden?
I get
Gotcha. You did a thesaurus joke.
No, not the mighty dinosaur, but actually it's about dragons.
Yay.
Ah.
We're full of zingers tonight, folks. Watch out.
We're not healthy.
You might get Zun.
So if you've been playing D&D for a while and you've ever seen a ranger and gone, boy, beast mastery kind of sucks, then welcome to Drake Warden, which is not that. It's that, but better. It's still basically the same general premise of the Beastmaster, only your pet is a dragon, a small dragon, which means that nobody can ride on it.
But it's not a tiny dragon like a pseudo dragon.
It's not a tiny dragon. It is just a small So, like, other pets, like the Artificer's Iron Defender is medium, I think. So, which means that, like, small characters like gnomes and halflings can ride on them. But this one is small, I think, specifically so that you can't just ride your dragon yet. But we'll get there.
I mean, couldn't you just cast, like, Reduce on yourself?
Or Enlarge on the dragon.
Or Enlarge on the dragon?
Well, your baby dragon friend does get bigger over time.
So you cast Enlarge by giving it food and love and shelter and water.
Just feeding and taking care of it. How to train your
long duration spell, that one.
It's also using the rules that I think are coming in Tasha's pot of all the stuff for doing pets, basically. So they scale with your proficiency bonus and your class level. So you're not just getting a bear that's like super good at level 3 and super not good at level 10, which is nice.
You have one that's super okay throughout.
Throughout, yes. Balanced, one might say. You can also choose the type of dragon you summon: acid, cold, fire, lightning, or poison.
Yeah, so your pet's not always around.
Mm-mm.
So at the beginning of a fight, you'll use an action to summon your babby, and you'll pick what flavor of dragon pet, and then you'll have it for a number of hours, I think, equal to your proficiency bonus. And then you can use one of your spell slots to summon it if you need it again later. Which is a fun use, I think, because I don't think oftentimes rangers have a huge use for their spell slots, or at least like not in the same way like a wizard is casting shit every round, right?
I like that the only actions it can take is dodge, but if you are incapacitated, the Drake can take any actions of its choice. So like there's a play to be made for it's like, go, you're free now, and then you cast Feign Death on yourself, and like so it can do its own thing.
That's a Jerika move. Now you're thinking with Jerikas.
That's using your Jerika.
It acts immediately after you on your turn in combat.
Unless it doesn't act at all.
Unless you don't have enough badges, in which case it ignores you.
It just hardens. Oh no.
Fill up that sash, maybe I'll make a lightning happen. Like get at it.
The other interesting thing that your pet can do is it can use its reaction to juice up, not just like to basically give an extra d6 of damage to any other attack it sees within 30 feet. I don't know visually in my mind what that is.
Arrow through the air and it lights it on fire or spits a little acid on it. So this is the thing that drives me up the wall about every single ranger subtype is they wanted to give you a way to get 1 extra die's worth of damage every round. That's like the ranger go-to for this level.
Yes.
And it's sometimes as easy as if you're a hunter, you just get a free D8.
But mostly they never just want to just give it to you.
No.
But this one is specifically a little obtuse, I think, where it's on your pet's reaction.
Yes. Why would you make it this complicated in the action to kind of like even having to use a bonus action every round to like reapply some frigging shadowy grip that you hold upon your quarry or whatever the hell is enough. But your pet's reaction is just unfathomable. Why? I mean, I could see it being useful, like, oh, the rogue got a crit on their sneak attack. Throw a d6 on that. Like, at least you have some choice. But ultimately, it feels very, very kludgy.
Is it that because the only action the pet can take while you're conscious is dodge, they couldn't necessarily...
No. You can, so on your turn, you can tell it to, as a thing that does not require any action from you, you can tell it to do a bite. Or help, or one of the, other actions. But, if you don't tell it to do anything, it dodges.
Yeah,
or takes a nap.
So it would have reactions to burn on, I don't know, making a dragon cat ball and...
What?
Yeah, let me reach.
Yeah. Give it another go. One more again.
You know how cats do hairballs?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, what if a dragon did one?
Scale balls?
Like
And it just works it
fireball.
up.
Tiny fireball.
Tiny fireball. I gotcha.
And then like spit that shit up on your arrow
sword.
or whatever.
Just moments before you connect, it just spits little.
It would be fun to do it on like other characters' things, like, oh, I'm being stabbed by this guy. No, now a dragon's biting me.
It means he likes you.
Yeah. And this knife in your ribs means I like you too.
So at 7th level, you get the resistance of whatever type you chose for your dragon friend. And then you can also choose that your dragon either gets a swimming speed and can breathe air and water, or it gets wings and a flying speed of 40 feet. And then
I think it's the second one.
I mean, I think in 80% of campaigns, most campaigns, yeah, it's going to be wings and a flying speed.
The number of features and spells and bullshit cooked into D&D that assumes there's going to be a large amount of time that you are like subaquatic sometimes baffles me.
Yeah, but anytime you like I think it's always weird because there is so much of that. Yeah. And yeah, for like you probably have like an arc of your adventuring.
Yeah.
That is like the fucking underwater level and everybody has a bad time.
Everything's fucking a disadvantage and you're drowning and good times.
All right, I finally found a spear that I can use underwater. All right, everybody. We won. Everybody
spear,
back on land.
I'm sorry, spear. Do you mean unident?
Yes, sorry. Not a trident, not a bident, but a unident.
Bident Harris 2020.
Hey, we got there.
And your Drake also gets an extra d6 of damage of whatever the damage type is. Anyway, at 11, you get to breathe whatever the dragon thing is you chose. It's a big cone. It does 66. You can't do it until you finish a long rest or spend a 3rd level spell slot, which again, using your spell slots that you don't always have a great use for. Interesting.
Hey, you can do 8d6 worth of damage at 15th level. Good for you.
Oh god, it is an action. It's not cool like the monks where you get to just as one of your attacks.
Nuh-uh.
Well, you tried D&D. You tried.
Yeah. I mean, or you could, conjure volley and do 8d8 instead, but whatever. Do we want to talk about how perfect your bond becomes with this little scale baby?
So Jerika, here it is. At level 15, your sweet babe becomes large.
Love it.
We skip medium outright. It's those growing pains. You have to buy them new shoes. Their bite does yet another additional d6.
That's what I always hoped.
And when either one of you takes damage near each other, you can use your reaction to give yourself or the Drake resistance to that instance of damage. Because you're best. Yeah, because you're best friends.
Because you're buddies. So is it like you give yourself or the Drake? So is it like you're taking the hit for them? Is that like the flavor there? I hold my dragon friend in front. I guess not hold because it's large now.
Because they hold you. They hold you in front of them at that point. And say, protect me, Daddy.
Yeah.
And
never talk to me or my son ever again.
Yeah.
And
the son's big.
But your son is so large.
They grow up so fast.
But yeah, those are the fun new subclasses, and I can't wait for a couple of weeks when we have our dungeon-themed subclasses.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been thinking about what those should be.
We had a bit of a chat about that, didn't we?
Yeah, and then somebody was like, "Man, that's good podcast material," and I still don't know if it is, but we're here.
I did. I said that.
I know you said
it. Was me.
I didn't want to call anybody up.
Yeah.
I'm not that person.
You know Moai from Easter Island? I feel like because they're made of stone, they could have like some dungeon aspects.
Well, somebody was telling me that so I started like looking around and because my first thought was like, oh, well, hexblades, people can like bond with, like make pacts with like smart swords. What if there's just a smart dungeon?
Smart sword?
That's what Hexblade's supposed to be, right?
So it goes when you hit the button to close it, and the door comes down on your dungeon.
Yeah. Alexa, stab him.
So basically, you want to romance the Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Like, you want to get in there and
that is...
Anyone has said that.
Well, that's where I'm getting. Like, I started looking and seeing if there was, like, an intelligent, sentient structure building a tomb, what have you. And, like, the closest I found was sort of like Undermountain.
Yeah.
Baba Yaga hut?
I don't know if that's, like, smart sentient. Yeah, but
animate.
Like, yes, it's mobile. But I don't know if it's smart or fun to hang around with.
Don't want to get a beer with that.
Yeah.
We're going to need a bigger bar.
I mean, you just give them, like, maze or something as, like, the high-level feature.
So
hallucinatory terrain or whatever it is. And all the walls, they can just, like, put walls of fire and water and air up.
I just see Matt's PC, like, whispering sweet nothings into the yawning portal. Like, I just want us to be together.
Well, like, think about it. Like, your patron, like, wants you to basically get other heroes to send it to it for some nefarious purpose, or like, I think it's, I don't know. I thought it was interesting as a warlock.
It's just C team basically, right?
Yeah, it felt very C team, but like I was looking around for like other material, and I was surprised that there wasn't more.
This is true. I am surprised there aren't sentient structures. This is a very good point. That seems like a very fucking D&D thing. Like, you couldn't take 5 steps in Favorite without running into, like, you know, a keep that wants to, like, chat your ear off.
Yeah, or like just a mimic that is just so massive that it just decides to be a castle.
That people keep disappearing in.
Maybe. I'll never tell.
It will be slowly digested over 1,000 years.
And the only other one I really didn't, because, you know, ADD brain, I guess, I bounced off and immediately started thinking about other things. But like maybe like a rogue who's just like enjoys like spelunking. I don't know, in old tombs and dungeons and things.
Wasn't there even
Sorry. Indiana Jones. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna. Wasn't there like even some like racial stuff back in the day? Like dwarves could detect changes in grade or something like that. They're like like the proprioceptive.
Yeah, you know what incline you're on.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that would all be fun. Yeah, an Indiana Jones rogue would be good.
Whisperer, dwarf. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll find out in a few weeks' time.
Anyway, we're still crawling here in this dungeon. Did anybody else have anything?
I was just going to talk about a little bit of homebrew that Jay and I were throwing together. So one of Jay's homebrew rules is he doesn't like how many known spells sorcerers get, so he lets sorcerers have an extra 2, I think, right off the hop. But has decided to change this with the upcoming release of Tasha's, the new sorcerer subclasses. Their new origins are coming with prefab spell lists, not unlike cleric domains, where there are certain spells at certain levels that you get access to. So what he wanted to retcon in similar lists for every other existing sorcerer subclass as a retrofit to that system. So sorcerers would have more known spells instead of just pick 2 extra first levels. Here's 10 you get throughout your kind of adventuring career. So we have lists for the Divine Soul, Storm, Wild Mage, Draconic, and Shadow. We'll be happy to post those up on ye old Twitter if you are so interested in checking them out and maybe applying that homebrew to your homebrew.
And you were working on like how to just make that happen in D&D Beyond?
D&D Beyond, yeah. Just copy the... I think Jay's going to or has done it. I guess we could share those as well. But essentially, you can make a subclass by copying any other subclass. So we'll copy the originals. And there's literally a box that just says, give them these extra spells. So it should be fairly easy.
Yeah.
The shadow magic one.
Taking candy from a baby.
Yeah. Because fuck that baby. It doesn't need candy. It hasn't ruined itself yet. I've ruined myself. I should have the candy. Yes, we did. However, we did start working in some of the spells that are forthcoming with Tasha's. And we did, the shadow magic one got a little tentacle-y. There's a lot of tentacles. There's a lot of inky black tentacles spread throughout the D&D 5e spell lists. And we got all of them. We got every single one.
Rounded them all up.
We did. Not a tentacle was to be spared.
Now the divine soul, though, you guys gave, and it already gets like an extra spell.
Yeah, we changed it out because we realized after the fact we gave it Cure Wounds and Bless, when Cure Wounds and Bless are 2 of the 5 options that it already gets to pick from. So I think we changed that over to Guiding Bolt and Detect Good and Evil.
Sounds good to me.
Cool.
Me, I'll just say I hate it. I didn't look real hard at it, but
Matthew, if you liked it right off the bat, it wouldn't. I couldn't believe you, right? Like
suspicious.
Yeah, I need that critical eye to tell me it's horrible trash garbage, so that I'm driven to fix it.
Matthew,
listen. I woke up so early this morning around noon and opened my Discord and just saw wave after like subclass and spell list, and I was just like, oh god, my head hurts. I can't.
And you didn't.
And I might later. Someday. We are now a good 8 hours away from that, and I still don't think I've really woken up enough to tackle that. But maybe someday.
I mean, it'll be there for you, waiting for you to demolish it. Until that time, I will get it up on the old Discord, Twitter, and you too can have a little nip of our homebrew. So this question coming from our very own Embers Tide, who unfortunately could not join us this evening. How would you create a central hub of distribution for items, like a pocket dimension that anyone could access as a virtual armory or item cache from anywhere in the same plane? Which of course brings to mind the great creation of one Griffin McElroy in the Adventure Zone, Fantasy Costco, where all your dreams come true.
Got a deal for you.
Hi, I'm
Deals
Warlock. Anyway, so I think the solution to this is to put fantasy phone booths in your D&D game, and you just run to the phone booth, you pick it up, you say hello, and then you learn kung fu.
Oh, nice.
Or get the gun you need.
A very Matrix approach.
The arsenal. Yeah.
I like the idea of fantasy Amazon, and literally whatever you need is delivered by an Amazon.
I mean, I would love that just because I could interact with an Amazon whenever I wanted to.
Do you come with the shield?
Exactly. And then she breaks my arm and I'm excited about it.
Break me, mommy.
Jesus.
Jay has like a sort of interdimensional magic shop that can be accessed from secret locations across the world, which is exciting.
Yeah, I think in his world it's like a former adventurer has to like pass down a key, right? Yeah. It's so you basically have to reach a renown level that gets you into the special secret shopper area.
I mean, there's always bags of holding. You can make them permeable, that where people can put stuff in them. You find something in there you never expected. Who knows?
Yeah, I was like, well, as a DM, you can just kind of forget how much a bag of holding actually can hold, and then just never call your players as they're pulling out mountains and mountains of stuff that are far too big for the bag of holding. Your laziness can actually just improve your game, just as easy as that.
Bing, bam, boom.
What are you shopping for? But, what do you got?
But yeah, that is an interesting question. Like, as like, so like plenty of like stores, but like as just a place for your characters to keep their stuff. Just, this is my super duffel bag. Or actually, I do like Jerika's Matrix phone booth.
You're the only one. I've pitched it twice now.
Absolutely not. Just, I need guns.
Give me the guns. Yeah.
I like the idea of a magnificent mansion that like has memory. Like if you could have one of those fortress type spells that, sits in
sentient building.
And then it becomes sentient building. Yes.
Yeah. You put enough chatty swords in a place,
See, and they're so easy to make. Why aren't there more of them?
What was the thing I said in Small Folk? It's like there are no evil swords. There's only commitment phobic adventurers.
And you continue to be the worst person I know.
Yep. I mean, listen, do I have a problem vis-a-vis swords? No.
I mean, that depends on how you look at it.
From where I'm standing, it's all good. Speaking of swords, here's another question. Just to cut right to the chase. In 5e, what class lends itself to be the most versatile in multi-classing? Let's say with a 2-level dip from Ooze the Muse, our dear friend and good boy.
I mean, I think charisma is shared among the most classes. Is that accurate?
For the castings, and definitely. I think charisma is the most used spellcasting modifier.
I think if you pick any of the charisma classes, it doesn't matter where you start.
Yeah, this is true. And a lot of them, like warlocks, get a lot of good stuff in the first 2 levels. They get their subclass, shall we say, at level 1. At level 2, they get invocations, which are basically like, class-specific feats. So you can get a whole multitude of different, options to flavor your character.
I mean, if you want to get technical, wisdom is really where it's at. It's a mess of just terrible things to multiclass. Cleric, druid, monk, and ranger all primarily use like wisdom in some form or fashion.
And I think cleric in there is probably a solid 2-level dip because you get, again, your domain right at first level. You get your channel divinity at second. So there's a lot of, upfront fun toys.
Druid will get you wild shape.
That's the problem is first level druid is just kind of like, I have magic, but I can make a stick more pointy and fairy fire. But then second level comes in and it's, that's the fun times.
I don't know. Druids that aren't moon druids really annoy me because you're spending your action to become a beast. And then what do you do?
Yeah.
I feel like this is baiting specifically me, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, sorry. The best druid subclass to multiclass into is in fact a moon druid.
I know, right?
If you're gonna go the full 3.
Because honestly, like the only reason anybody would dip to druid is to turn into a big animal and
then do a bite or do a claw.
Yeah. Or any number of unarmed attacks if you're going like the fun druid monk style.
Crouching tiger.
But you don't want to be stuck in the loop of, all right, I've turned into an animal. My turn's over.
Yeah, that's the loop that drains Jerika's energy.
A lot of if you're going to go like paladin, there's some good stuff in there. You'll get yourself a fighting style, divine smite, good armors. Really, a lot of the Chanwiz classes got great 2-level dips. Fighter, get that action swage.
And as much as I also detest Hexblade, a single level dip in Hexblade is also great. Like if you just want to be martial, but also just have and then just actually go towards like any other like charisma caster.
This is true. Yeah, it's a quick way to get proficiency with shields and decent armor, and Hexblade's curse is pretty darn good, and you can use Chaw for swinging your sword somehow. So if you ever need to, you have that option available to you, and it might actually work. Okay, yeah, I think that.
Now, as a human man who plays a D&D character,
you insist.
Bold assumptions, but okay.
Yeah,
that
state your source.
That has multi-class, I think 5 or 6 times.
Six times so far for the current character.
Would you recommend that?
A Hexblade dip?
No.
For anybody listening at home, by the way, that's a level 6 character who has multi-class 6 times.
I recommend chasing your bliss, and sometimes your bliss is
squirrely. Can't get a grasp on it. That bliss is all over the
place. Yeah. Well, you think it'd be easier to grab if it was nascent, right? You just gotta. You can't. I can't swing a cat without hitting some bliss. I have a problem with multi-classing. It's documented on this podcast. Your Honor.
Mean that you do it a lot when you shouldn't?
I do it a lot, even when I shouldn't.
Gotcha.
And I wanted to indulge that dark hunger, but do it in such a way but do it to not min-max, because oftentimes it is for min-maxing purposes or. Well, yeah. So I figured I would follow the noble path of one Patrick Rothfuss, whose PC takes one level dip every time because he can't figure out what he wants to do with his life. I had a different backstory reason for it, but suffice it to say, I haven't died yet. I probably should have once.
I mean, it doesn't. Nothing really seems to hold you back. Like, multi-classing is perfectly good in the sense that you don't really miss out on a whole lot.
And like I said to Jay when we got 6th level a couple weeks back, so I was like, I do try to make the best bad decision. Like I do, I don't specifically take something that will do nothing for me. So, there's always a little bit of oomph with each level. Maybe not as much as if I stuck with something, but this is where we are.
Great. Let's answer one more Q.
So coming from Geronimus on our Discord, how important or worthwhile is it to do research of looking into different game mechanics or even completely different media like movies and storybooks in order to improve as a GM? So what kind of rabbit holes do you go down when you are finding inspiration for things you want to do in your TTRPG sessions? I don't like research. I don't know if I don't think that I would get onto a topic that I would want to base something around if I didn't already feel I was somewhat well versed in it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I'm going to leap to a thing I need to research to make it like a crux of like a one shot or a campaign or what have you.
I think, a GM doing research, a deep dive is kind of like setting up a big backstory for a PC. It's not something emergent discovery that's happening at the table. And I think that sort of, again, emergent discussion at the table is sometimes the most interesting part of the game. So I think if you're sort of doing your own thing at the table or not at the table, it's a risk that you're taking, kind of sinking that time into something that might not even come up.
And I think the corollary there is that if you have invested...
A corollary? Is it a corollary?
It's Canadian pronunciation. Shut up.
Is it corollary, though?
You're doing it with the sarcastic voice, but I'm actually starting to wonder if there's a pronunciation difference between us and you, between myself and yourselves.
Between us and them, yeah.
Between ourselves and
I'm just letting our American... I'm just translating for our American listeners, that's all.
But to say, like, if you invest very deeply in an idea and you've made that kind of the crux of your campaign or what have you, if your players don't engage with that, there's that fear that, because you're so heavily invested in it, you might start to railroad them in that direction. I don't think there's anything. And
if that's the game you want to run, that's the game you want to run. But I think you're missing out on emergent gameplay opportunities.
Yeah. And I mean, it's definitely fine to have an overarching narrative, but it definitely has to kowtow to what's happening at the table. Absolutely. That is where I think a lot of the fun and humor and all of this comes from is when someone does something unexpected in the moment. And
then you kind of like run with it.
Yes.
Like you build on it and yeah, it doesn't just have to be one person. It becomes a cultural touchstone at the table.
I think like doing things to specifically improve as a GM, not so much, but like do the things you like, ingest the media that you enjoy, and you will pick up like ideas from that, obviously, and feel free to use them, steal from everywhere, and do whatever you want. And that's really my pitch on life in general.
Just do what you want. Even
Do what
if
you
it is
want.
Research. Just do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the person who will end up like, all right, I've been staring at, I now have 20 tabs open on this Forgotten Realms wiki. I've learned nothing of value to my players or society as a whole. But here we are, at the
Born to be kings.
at the Taco Bell,
The universe.
at the Taco Bell, at the Pizza Hut, at the combination Taco Bell and Pizza Hut.
I think with that, have we answered enough cues from our collective A's to...
We've answered all the cues.
All the cues are done. There are no more cues. Entire continuum.
I don't know.
Fucking
I don't know.
like
I don't look. I don't know if we're
Done. The cues are done.
I don't know if we're out of cues, but we're definitely all out of A's.
Yeah, for sure.
I cued my A off again. All right. We would love to thank Vinswept for our theme music, Never Stand Alone. Good advice, good song. You can check them out on Bandcamp and anywhere that music is streamed. We also want to thank Burnham at BERNUMMM on the TweetStor. They have created our lovely faces and social media branding. Burn, if you're listening, you're not listening. But if you ever listen, if you ever come back, you're pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty much the episode. How the fuck does this thing end?
No, Vinswept happened.
Vinswept happened.
Okay.
I talked about Burn.
Cool song, great song. Burn.
Miss Burn.
Also great song, great person.
Yeah.
If you want to share any of our episodes that you may be chortled at, languidly with any of your peers and or counterparts, please do so. It's cool.
Yeah, share us around.
We're a virus. We pass easily from host to host.
Let us infect your earlobes. That's not where the sound goes.
Nope.
So we answered your cues from our collective A's because this...
Was
Insight.
check.
Check. We're all super tired, I think. Whatever we say now is committed to the annals of history.
Unless Jay,
Immediately.
yeah, unless Jay decides he doesn't like it, in which case, no podcast this week either.